everyone, and welcome one and all to a Synergy Lab special, and we are going to have a fiddle together. It was a really bad time. Really bad time to pause for breath. We're going to see how we can push the revelation lock the doors. The revelation items together. Honestly, there's a really big part of me that wants to kind of grab one, but I don't want to crash the game because this looks like something that might crash the game. It's like if I was walking down the street and I saw in front of me a huge giant jelly, I would be like, is anybody here? Is anybody watching? No? Well, I'm gonna try getting inside. Give that a go. Oh, it's so slimy and snug. That context matters. All I'm saying, if there was a giant, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Oh, Jesus Christ! There were on the list of possibilities there. Okay, let's have a look at our fiery fun then. We're gonna add a few little additions to this that make it rather nice. We want to grab Cricket's head because we're gonna get soy milk. And what soy milk does for us is permanent flamethrower! Mwahahaha! Because what's better than fire sometimes? Yeah, fire all the times. We're going to get a little bit of damage to make up for the tickling flames, and then we're going to grab ourselves a bit of my reflection. Now, I have extensively... You see, that was an effective use of the language, because in order to stress the word extensively, I made it take an extensive amount of time to say. So the way that I did it reinforced both the word and the meaning to come together for a multi-layered, really good bit of verbal oomph, you know. So just in case any of you was wondering about my choice of word and way to say it. So my reflection extends the length of the flamethrower really, really extensively. And so what I did there, right, is I said extensively in a extended, you know, like I spent an extensive amount of time saying extensively. So it makes it really stress out and, you know, kind of emphasize what I'm saying. It's pretty good verbal technique to do. You know, it's like using repetition to make a point. So terrible. I was in too deep though. I dug that hole and by God, I was getting covered in dirt. There was no escaping that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, if you saw a massive jelly, you would like, if I gave you the opportunity to jump off a diving board and land in a pool filled with jelly, you would totally take it, wouldn't you? Because I would. There are so many things I would love to jump in a pool full of. Like, the list is quite ridiculous. I mean, obviously you couldn't choose something like puppies because that sounds initially, aw, but then you think about a massive piled up writhing baby dogs and that wouldn't be in a good way. That wouldn't be good for them. And it would also just be like a solid surface. So don't choose a living thing. But like milk, even something as simple as milk. I'd love a pool full of milk. Jelly would be cool. I mean, mostly liquids and soft things, I would suggest. Bread middle. The white, gorgeous, soft middle of bread, a pool filled with that? Oh, can you imagine just tunneling through it like a human bread mole? I never thought I'd ever reach a part of me where I could genuinely say human bread mole and it make perfect sense in context. I'm happy I can cross that off my things to do before I die list now. That's really, really good. These flames are very, very slow to kill, which is kind of bad. I mean, no, to be fair, it depends on what you're going for, right? Because if you're in a life or death situation and you need to stop who's ever trying to kill you and you happen to be able to spit fire, then you want to instantly vaporize them. You want the threat dealt with as quickly as possible. You want to be like, I don't know, you try and do a sound effect for someone breathing fire. It's not really a common occurrence. And they would just instantly turn to ash and the threat would be averted and you'd be having a great old time. But if you were like trying to torture your like nemesis, then it would be much more preferable preferable if the fire was like this one, a little bit of more of a slow roast. So it takes a little bit of time for the nerves to be singed into unfeelingness, so they actually get to savor and experience the screaming pain of being burnt alive. One of the most excruciating things that one can happen, though still probably better than drowning, because it's probably over quicker. There's less pain for less time. Well, no, there's more pain, but it doesn't last as long because you do just pass out from the pain pretty quick. And whereas drowning is just a lot of terror, and you go through a range of emotions. You can also start like hallucinating and going a little bit crazy as the oxygen is deprived of your brain, and it's just an overall terrifying experience. If you're ever in a situation where you're being forced to choose between being burnt alive or drowned, definitely try and just not be in that situation is advice number 1. But 2, if you absolutely have to, probably get burnt alive. I'm here to help, okay? That's a public service announcement here from Rage Gaming. So a lot of you have wanted Synergy Labs on various mods, and every time I've thought about doing it, I've always kind of been like, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to become a strangled pterodactyl yet, but with this one, it's so good and so inspiringly awesome that I'm like, yeah, no, we want to, right? We totally do. I didn't even see that he freaking uses his thing like a bat to fire it at me. That's so awesome. We are actually kind of, whoa, that went so much faster than I expected. That's really cool, but we're also dying super hard. Like, look at this. Absolutely, ridiculously. I'm actually really concerned that I'm just going to die. Okay, careful. Careful. What the hell? And we're back, everyone. The Duke of Flakes. Oh, it's really good. Alright, I've really turned up the heat with our flamethrower because, honestly, it's such weak burning, you know. I better be seeing what your pools are going to be filled with in the comments, though, otherwise I'm going to be really, really sad. So the reason I'm not adding any items on the ice floors is because this mod is not very compatible with other mods yet, and as you saw, it kind of breaks everything super hard. At least you might not have seen. I might have completely forgotten to do it. But it's not about these floors today, it's about the synergy, and it's by far and away the best one that I can come up with because the items don't have a lot of actual interactions yet, so it's kind of difficult to do something completely bonkers. Most of the items don't really interact well or even at all, but we still at least have something we can do using an older favorite, you know, using a classical item of glory. I want to know why this, like, isn't hugely effective against these people. Like, finding the flamethrower on floor 1 should give you so much advantage against the ice, you know? It really should be super effective because a Pokemon reference? Yeah! Alright, burn. Burn! Burn! You think you can stop me? No. No, you can't. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. There's quite a few ways to achieve this. The ice tray has appeared. Oh, we actually unlocked an item? That's really kind of cool. Oh, look, I can't actually go to the... No, just going to those floors breaks it. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, Jesus! What have we done? What have we done? Oh, we've broken everything. Yes, we're in this together, okay? This is partly your fault. And we are fixed once again. It's really proving to be one of those runs, isn't it? You know, I try and have everything really well prepared and all of that jazz, and it just ends up embarrassing me. You know, it's really, really sad. Like, I don't know how to feel feel better about it. It's like one of those art shows. So here's one I made earlier, and then they pull it out, and it's literally on fire and broken, and they just have a mental breakdown and realize that they're 40 years old doing basic arts and crafts on a kid's show, and they've accomplished nothing of worth with their life, and end up having a slightly dark and depressing next few months as they come to terms that they've wasted the best years of their life and start writing a note. Alright, so I got darker than I expected, okay? But what is wrong with children's entertainers? Like, you see their face, like, they have to smile really, really broadly and constantly, like, "Hi, kids, today we're gonna sing about this. I'm singing about these things, about my alphabets. And you could bet that I'd rather ended up a vet. But I failed me exams, so now all I can is sing about letters to 3-year-olds. I hope I don't grow old." And, you know, it always gets to me. You can see how forced, and it feels like mild torture. Like, it actually is, right? There is entirely possible that hell itself is simply, you have to be a children's show entertainer for the rest of eternity. And if you ever drop the facade that you are having the best time of your life going, "Hey Sally, what shall we do today?" "I don't know, Dave, what shall we do?" "Let's learn about the alphabet." "Oh, Dave," like, if you ever drop that facade for even a second, well, then your body is turned inside out and you have to go on anyway. You can imagine it, right? I mean, then again, there's a lot of game shows that are like actual torture for the children themselves. Like, there's one called Jungle Run. I don't know if it aired anywhere but the UK, but basically, it's taking a load of kids, and there's like a jungle tour guide who's the presenter / host of the show, and he runs them through this really cool forest set. Like, visually, it was really cool for its time, or at least that's how I remember it. It might have been awful now. I'm going off kid nostalgia memory, and he would make them, I say make them, "Get in there, child!" He would, you know, get them to do little challenges, and by little challenges I mean there's one where he would put them through a really confined maze with locking sliding door mechanisms that they had like a minute to work out, or the concept was they got locked in there forever. Obviously they probably didn't. I believe that they did when I was little, and I was like, damn, the amount of parents must hate this show, but you know, that's kid brain. But either way, it's like 12-year-olds having to crawl through a confined claustrophobic like maze in order to find these little monkey statues. That's what the points were worth, and it just seems really traumatic. So, in fact, honestly, now that I think about it, eternal game shows in any kind of respect are a prime candidate for eternal torture. They really are. So, to the main event then. We're going to add brimstone to the fire. The old classic combination of fire and brimstone. And it makes a really cool beam. Is that not awesome? So we'll use this till the next floor before making it become what we need it to. The lava spewing everywhere. Oh. See, what's better than spewing fire? Spewing magma. Liquid hot magma is of course the superior thing to be able to pour upon your foes. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me that has those memories of game shows. Actually, I've just realized something. You could see where the... Oh my god, they weren't trapped in a maze! They weren't trapped underground in a maze! I've just had a crashing realization! The camera was angled in such a way that it was a side-on view of them going through the maze, but it wasn't like fancy X-ray type stuff. I think just the entire right wall of the maze didn't exist, so whenever they wanted, they could have just gone out to the right, like rolled out of it, but obviously they had to stay in it. So like, oh, imagine being in a box, but one wall of the box is missing and people are looking in at you from the box, like a cross section. That wall of the maze was missing, so it wasn't completely confined corridors, they were open on one side. That makes so much more sense! For the last 10 years, I've been convinced that game show genuinely put children through hell! Oh my god! How have I not thought about this before? Oh, that's so embarrassing. Not as embarrassing as what happened earlier, but we'll get to that in a moment. I can't believe this. The jungle guide isn't a monster. Oh, my God. All right, so we can add that and really turn up the fire, which is great and all. But what we can do, which is really, really cool, and it is literally really cool, is get that sweet mint gum. And this turns it from a magma beam into an icicle blizzard blast of freaking awesome. Like, is that not amazing? But then we want to take it even further than that. Like, it's just, oh, I love it. But we want to take it even further of that. And for that, we need tiny planet. Yes, indeed. But we also need something extra. Our wiggle waggle worm. And then we have this floating along like so. Oh, isn't it fantastic? And then we want to get ourselves a load of 2020s. Just an absolutely metric crap ton of 2020s. Just so goddamn many. And as I said, there's not a lot of actual synergies between the new items and the old items, so this really is as good as you're going to get right now. But it is pretty good, is it not? Is this not quite the awesome sight? The waving blue magma beam and then the huge blizzardy frost fest afterwards. Does it not look fantastic? Oh! And we could have it with crosshairs and more going out everywhere, but it's just not quite the same. Now, the thing is, you can technically get Tech X and make it like that with little frost ones going through the air. And this one's also pretty damn cool if you don't like it, because it speeds up. It's like actual frost blasts. And then if you grab yourself some continuum, fwum, fwum, flying through the room. Like, that is pretty awesome, right? So it depends which one you actually like the most. Eventually it does obviously end, but I really, really enjoy it. So what we're going to do is essentially have the best of both worlds by grabbing Mega Blast. And here we go. Because with Mega Blast, we still just get the fiery one. There's like this lava spout at the end. Is it really struggling to kill a Dingle Dangle that badly? And the rest of the beam just completely loses all of its texture. So it's just this kind of white blob. And I don't really get why. I love the frost trail going after that. I'm going to go back to the brimstone next floor, but this is definitely something I wanted to show you. It's kind of like an icy comet flying by, which is just really, really awesome. I'm still kind of mind blown at how badly I misinterpreted the maze on Jungle Run. I really, really am. But I was going to tell you about... I really thought they were shoving children underground for years. I can't tell you how much of a revelation this is to me. Hello, Mother. Goodbye, Mother. Hey, look, we got penance. We did it, guys. We did it. That was quite the frickin' angel room. Jesus. All right. Oh, I don't know, guys. It's a tough choice here. It's a tough choice. Go, my icicle comet. You can do whatever it is you wish to do. Flying past. It is actually really awesome, isn't it? Look at that. Oh, and the flakes that it leaves behind. So much damage. Way more damage than the Mega Blast. Actually, surprisingly. Well, maybe not surprisingly. Can we just, what if we just go mental on it? It's just such a nice thing, right? And it does play really well. In fact, look, there's even fire now. It plays pretty damn decently if we get our darkness modifier. It kind of really highlights the frost crystals in the air, and that's something that's really, really cool. Like, imagine how long you'd have to play this mod for to actually see this synergy happen. Like, it would have to be a perfect storm of a run. But because of the power of the Synergy Lab, we are all okay. So I mentioned embarrassment, okay? I mentioned embarrassment. Well, you know my owl onesie? Makes me look all fluffy. It's got little wings under the arms, and I can pull my hood up and look like an owl. So comfy. Well, remember that. So, I've had my kitchen redone recently because it was in a sorry state when I first moved into this house. And at the same time, we had the lounge next to it kind of redone a little bit. Not anything crazy, just basically a new floor. But that new floor is wooden, where before it was carpet. And a brand new wooden floor is one of my favourite things in the world because there's no furniture in the room, so it's just a empty room with a wooden floor. So I get to walk along it in heavy shoes and hear the lovely, sexy sound of good solid shoes on hard wood, just the clog. That's really not selling it well, but you know what I mean, that echoey, sharp, but so sensual. That's just me hitting my desk, but I don't even know if you heard it, but like the clip-clop of a horse's hoof, but even better. You know what I'm saying, alright? A sharp, solid object placed on wood sounds good. Shut up. And, oh yeah. Boom! But the other property... Oh, look at that. Oh, that looks so cool! Holy shit in this... Alright, that is better than the Icicle Comet. My word, look at that. Holy Christ, that's freaking awesome! Wow! Wow! The other property of a nice shiny new wooden floor is that it's very slidey. Okay? And don't any of you try and tell me that when presented with an empty room with a slidey floor and you're just wearing socks, you don't have a moment of, I need to slide along this. I need to run at it really fast and just slide and pretend I'm like skating around the place. Because you do, right? You totally do. Don't even try and tell me you've not done that. Oh, this is so cool. My word. Oh, look at it. Beautiful. Thank you so much, mod. Thank you so much. Well, that sucks, doesn't it? So I went for a good bit of a skate round my new floor, and I was wearing the owl onesie at the time, right? So I looked from any external sight probably quite comical, this really weird humanoid owl sliding around the floor, but obviously I realized this is what I must look like, so I was like, hang on a minute, I could actually tell it looked like the rare sliding bird was the thought that I had. So I put my hood up. So I had the bird face on, and I raised my arms to the side, so the little wings were spreading out, and kind of pretended to like aeroplane, you know, like kids do, like, woo, I'm flying along the floor, sliding around it in circles, having an absolute great time. It was, you know, the best, but obviously you can imagine that sight. And then on one of my, ow, I keep hurting myself. On one of my ways round, I'm going to go back to the lab, actually, and make sure that I don't die by grabbing some healthy items. I realize that this sucks that I have to do that, but I don't think it's worth the risk. On one of my slide rounds, I realize through the window that doesn't have any curtains on, because it's, again, a shell of a room that's just finished having work done on it. Well, technically it still needs painting, but still. I realize there is an old couple that lives 2 doors down, just stood there on the street staring at me through the window, watching this weird person dressed as an owl slide round the floor, looking like an airplane. And I kind of just stopped. My arms are still out, my head's still up. And I'm looking at them, and they're looking at me, and we're having one of those moments. You know those moments where I'm not quite sure how I deal with this. They're not quite sure. Do they just walk away? And you know how, like, when Dracula quickly flicks his cape round in front of his face and walks away, and it looks all smooth. That was my plan. That was my plan. But the wings on this thing are like tiny, like like they're nothing. They're just a tiny bit of decoration. And I decided that's how I'm just gonna do that and walk out the room and pretend they never saw me. Oh god. So I quickly whip my arm round, realize, hang on, it's effectively just a sleeve, and on top of that, slap myself in the face with my feathery arm. So my response to, hang on, loads of people are seeing me pretend to be a ice skating owl man here. I better hit myself in the face. That'll distract them. So I did that, had to kind of go, ah! And then just shuffled out the room. And by shuffled, I mean I then slid out the room. You know, at this point, I was like, I'm in too deep. I need to own this. I need to absolutely own this. So, you know, I did. And it was fine. All was well. But those people are going to think that there's someone absolutely mental lives near them. I guess if they ever say anything, I could just say they're old and probably just made up what they saw. I can probably get away with that. Oh, look, there's some milk. Or there's some milk. That's crazy. How did that even happen? Oh, God, what are the chances? Hello. Oh, it's so much damage. Wow. That is actually much more painful than I expected it to be. And I've heard people tell me that so much in their life. It's really, really sad. Oh, look at it in this room at this distance. That's so cool. Oh. Hello, guys. Do you like my frosty breath? I bet you do like my frosty breath, because saying frosty like that is just fantastic. I added an R to fantastic so I could do it as well. Forgive me. Okay, forgive me for I have sinned. Oh, that was quite the fan. Alright, take this, Delirium! Oh, his health bar is not moving. Take this. Take this, Delirium. Yeah. Alright. Never mind then, Delirium. Take this! Ha! Yeah, I bet that's got you frozen to the spot. Because it's cold. Because it's cold. I'm just going to kill him now before he can tell anyone of my terribleness. I bring the storm. Oh, I bring the storm. Yes, I do. Alright, guys, that is your Revelation Synergy Lab. I hope you thought that it was fab. I will see you very soon. Have a great life until then. Seriously, you're only allowed to have a great life until you watch the next video. And then it can be refreshed for another couple days, but you gotta keep doing it. And it's how I keep you hooked. Patreon currently keeps the channel going, so if you could support me on there, it would be amazing, but don't feel compelled. I'll see you soon. A goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video flow, shenanigans and Overwatch, and his fans all know that every single thumbnail that this man makes without fail makes you do a double take, catching your attention with every verse. See, say that you need healing but you're at his mercy. Get it? Cause it's a pun. On his channel, that's one of the better ones. Widow is venomous, I see no end to this. Cataclysm's imminent when Rage is in his element. Pandemonium is not familiar with irrelevance. Maximum Genji beam, oh so elegant. Jokes so funny causing you to cry. Editing is quality as the noon is high. Yo, concussion man, shoot to the sky. Cap it all off with a goodbye.